we should probably apologize again. Ted could not make it to taping. He got called back to DC at the last minute for some sort of fundraiser. So he said to carry on without him with our
Yeah.
girl dick shenanigans.
Ted Cruz needed to take some bribes. Ted Cruz off in DC getting bribed up real good, getting greased like a pig. Getting greased like a slippery pig, that Ted Cruz. He's like, I can't be in Texas. I gotta go Washington. There's oil money. Slather me in that oil money, boy. Boy, cover me in that grease. Give me that grease. I want to feel that grease. Give me that good grease.
Ladies, gentlemen, and friends beyond the binary, welcome to Girl Dick with Ted Cruz, starring Lilith Electra Zarling, Amanda Bonanza, and esteemed Republican Senator from the great state of Texas, your host, Ted Theodore Cruz.
I actually asked him, I said, can we just call it Girl Dick? And he was like, he insisted on keeping the Ted Cruz because he thinks it helps his numbers. I don't know what that means.
It does. Well, Ted Cruz is a big fan of Girl Dick. I've heard. I mean, he said multiple times. Yeah, it's like, on the outside, he talks about how like there's no such thing, but like we all know.
No. I would say my experience on a dating apps is most white Christian men are fans of Girl Dick.
Oh, they fucking love it.
They love it.
They love it so much, and they're so embarrassed about it. They hate it. They hate that they love it, but they fucking love it.
They love it more than their wife.
Oh, they love sucking those girl dicks. Oh, they just love it.
They're just like, I need to be discreet. And it's like, yeah, I bet you need to be discreet.
Yeah, don't you? You're also not very good at it.
Yeah, I tell you, I had a side story. This has anything to do with what our podcast is today, but now that we're talking about married guys, my new thing is if they bring that up, I'll be like, why don't you just be honest with your wife, tell her you're into me, and we'll make it a threesome. And then one guy goes like, yeah, I'm not coming to you for marriage advice. I'm like, you're the one trying to hook up with a trans woman behind your wife's back on Grindr. So
yeah.
So.
This is why I fucking don't date men. It's just like, I'll be perfectly honest with you. Like, I mean, yeah, I'm definitely like, I'm bi. I find men attractive. I didn't always. That's a weird thing. That's a thing that wasn't in the pamphlet. But yeah. Did you have that experience? Were you always attracted to men?
Yeah, I was always kind of just like whatever. I've never dated. I had told honestly, like I have never dated a man until my current boyfriend. It's been about 3.5 years now. But my thing was like, I'm into dudes, but I never saw myself dating a dude because dudes are just so weird.
That's a big part of it for me. Is like, and I think weird is a nice word to use.
It's the nicest word I can come up with.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Do you think for the theme we could use his campaign song?
Wait, does he have a campaign song?
He did in the 2016, I think. When he ran.
Wow.
When he ran against Beto O'Rourke, maybe that was 2018.
Yeah, that was 2018.
Like, if you wanna win Texas, you can't be a liberal man.
If you're gonna run in Texas, you can't be a liberal man. 'Cause liberal thought is not the spirit of a Lone Star man. You gotta be tough as Texas and honest about your plans. If you're gonna run in Texas, you can't be a liberal man.
I'm Ted Cruz, and I approve this message.
Shut up!
It's real. You gotta look it up. It's fucking real.
Oh my god! You want to get that girl dick? You can't be a liberal,
man. Yep. We only let conservatives up in this piece.
Ted Cruz
only real Americans can get with this.
Ted Cruz just catching the pulse of the nation 80 years ago with a campaign theme song.
You got a question for us, Lil?
Yeah, I think I got a question for you. I mean, I think this is more of like we talked about some of these aren't questions. They're more just like people putting
Right.
something in the universe, and it sounds more like, hey guys, help me wrap my
Should we
mind around it.
explain what we're doing here? Or should we just assuming the world knows already?
We didn't do this. I guess this is the first episode now, since we're going to explain what we
Is
do.
it the first? Is it? I don't know. It's either the
I don't think
first or the second.
I don't
It's
think we mentioned it in the last
it's an
episode.
early episode. I don't know if this is the first yet. We're gonna find
we'll
that
have
out.
a clean
We're
break.
gonna find that out
We'll have
later.
a clean break right now, and I will.
Depends
I'll
what the
say
producers do.
and I'll
They're
say
gonna
what we're doing, and you can drop it in the first episode. You can drop it in every episode. So what we've decided to do is we've decided to go to Reddit, and we're not gonna say what subreddit we went to. We're not gonna give the person's name, but we're finding, questions from trans people or things that they've posted that we can either answer the question, or like I said, some of these are less a question and more just like, hey, I'm going through this and looking for a response. And as two just experienced and brilliant trans women, we thought we'd pitch in and help. Again, our opinions are our own. I'm a big fan of telling people, like, for the most part, you have to figure out how to handle something that's best for you. But I hope that in our answers, we can help you find, your best response. And also know that, like, the trans woman experience is not the non-binary experience, is not the trans man experience. But again, sometimes these are overarching things, and it really is about how you're responding to situations, regardless of who you are internally. So that's what we're doing.
No one has the same experiences. Everyone experiences their own. But there's a lot of overlap with the trans community.
A lot of shitty people in this country giving us a lot of overlap.
We have to go through a lot of the same shit. So, and it uniquely to transgender people.
Yeah. So I've got one here.
Right.
There's a bit of a story. It's titled that they're coming out to their spouse, and I picked this one because our partner had to do the same thing, and so I thought that was interesting. But also just, we talk a lot about, like, people in your lives and how being trans affects that. So I think that's a great jumping off point too. So I've been wrestling with myself for about a year now. I've had spasms of dysphoria on and off for the last 40 years, normally fleeting, sometimes a little longer, but never significantly ongoing. About a year ago, I can safely say that the egg shattered, and I've been trying to resolve all these issues everyone deals with in their own way and time, and come to realize that this is not going to stop. I need to transition. I accept that I'm in the process of transitioning from male to female. What I'm acutely struggling with, however, is that I am very happily married, have wonderful children, and I'm at a loss of how to go about discussing this with them. Most of the information I can find only is from the spouse's perspective rather than the person transitioning. While I fully accept that there is a very real risk I will end up losing them, I desperately don't want to. I am reaching out to see if there are people for the advice and support of those who have already been through this. Do you have any advice? Hopefully some positive stories about successful marriages moving forward. I may be dreaming, but regardless, any information you could share would really be appreciated. And the last thing here is kind of addition. I really find some of this terminology awkward. Coming out feels like the wrong phrase. It is not like this is some secret I am now choosing to reveal, but rather I've accepted that I have to make fundamental changes and want to share this with people I love and care for. Sorry, rant over. First thing, that was not a rant.
No, that's a very, very clear, concise situation.
Yeah, no all
God,
caps.
that mirrors, that first part at least mirrors my experience almost completely. Like that's how it was for me.
Yeah.
Like that first part. I was not married. I don't have kids, and I'm not married, and I never was. So I can't speak to that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Should I just go on kind of?
I mean,
you go first.
I was married. I didn't have kids. Every time I talk to a trans person who is divorced and has kids, I feel bad if it ended poorly and they still have to deal with it. I do not have to deal with my ex. I haven't talked to her since I moved out. And that was just for my own health. I would say something for me is, like most people, I knew when I was very young that I was trans, but in the 70s and 80s, that was not really a thing. And it's not like today. Yeah, you couldn't go online and meet people or talk to people. And I had esteem problems. Looking back, I had very, very obvious social problems with people, and I married the first person I dated. And I'm not here to badmouth that person, but looking back, like if I look back, there's a million things I should have. Everything I've done up until about the time I turned 48 was wrong. Every choice I made was wrong. And, that's fine because I ended up here on this amazing podcast and my life is pretty great right now.
That's all it takes. This is it. This is it. It's
But
right
yeah,
here.
like my whole thing has always been, if you know this about yourself and it's true and you explore, and it might be, if for this person, it might be finding a support group that you can attend once a week. But when it comes to telling other people, and this is probably something we're going to mention every week, is you can't control other people, but you can't keep yourself miserable for someone else's comfort. If that person really loves you, then they'll help you. If they feel like, there are some people out there who they go through this and they don't stay married, but they still have a good relationship because their spouse understands that, they do love them, they do want them to be happy, but that's not what they signed up for marriage. And that's completely understandable. And then there are some people where it does go completely sideways, but unfortunately, there's nothing you can do about that. You can really only pursue your own happiness and be honest. I think that's the main thing. And I think that's the main problem with a lot of relationships is people aren't honest and they hold back the truth because they're afraid of someone's reaction. And that's just going to build and build and build. That's just going to get harder to have that conversation.
Well, it sounds to me like this girl's figured that out.
Yeah.
Is what it sounds like to me. Is at least she's come to that conclusion. Like when I said earlier, like that first part just mirrors mine so almost exactly. Because like I always knew I was trans. Like since I was a little kid, since I knew what the difference was. I knew I wanted to be. I didn't know have the words for it maybe,
right.
But I knew. And like there was no part of me that didn't think that thought I wasn't. Or I was never so much in denial that like I never thought that wasn't the case. But what I will say is like you're never 100% sure because you're like it's such an isolating experience,
right?
Especially when we grew up, and it's just like you can't talk about it.
Right.
And so like it's like I couldn't ask people because there's no one to ask. Like before the internet, like I mean, I had to do. I mean, I know how the Dewey Decimal System works because I'm trans. Like that's how I learned. And I went and I did everything in secret. I did all my look and I read the books and I read the journals and I read the medical things and I looked as fun as that and I did it in secret. I had a library card under a fake name and like I did all this stuff. I went to far. I didn't go to the library by my house. Like it was like stuff like that. Like I took the bus. It's like I was really meticulous about covering my tracks because it was it was dangerous where and when we grew up.
Milwaukee,
and,
right?
Yeah, Milwaukee in the 80s and 90s. Same as you, girl.
70s and 80s here, but I get you.
Okay. Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, but one of the things that like is I would go through bouts of dysphoria like that, where it was cyclical. It was cyclical. Like I would get, it would, most of the time I was able to suppress it enough and manage it and push it back far enough that it wouldn't really affect my day-to-day activities. But like about every 3 months, that would like bubble up and it would just get so bad that like I had to go off and disappear and like kind of take care of it in the way that I did and deal with it and get and get that out of my system and then push it back and then lather, rinse, repeat. And what started happening to me is right around when I hit 40, that every 3 months started getting to be every 2 months.
Yeah.
And then it was every 1 month. And then it was every 3 weeks. And then it was every 2 weeks. And it was every week. Then it was every couple days. Then it was every day.
Yeah.
And then it was all the fucking time. And it was getting harder and harder to like keep that back. And it was seeping out. It was coming out, not like necessarily like in like, but like it was manifesting in unhealthy ways that like primarily I had to concentrate so hard on keeping up my appearances and keeping up my like my facade that like it consumed more and more of my mental bandwidth. Like and it was getting to the point where like I was running out of it, and that like I was forgetting things.
Yeah.
And at first it was little things. At first it was like I forgot that, like I was like, oh shit, was I supposed to go to someone's birthday? Oh, was it someone's birthday? It's like, oh fuck, I forgot. It's like oh dude, like did I pay rent? Like it's like oh did I? It's like shit. Did I forget? Like was I supposed to go out with Andy? Like was I supposed to have lunch with Andy yesterday? It's like I can't remember. Like did I miss that? But then it started getting to the point where my friends were noticing, and I was also drinking a lot at the time, and they thought it was the drinking, and I'm sure the drinking didn't help.
Did not help.
But the drinking was not the root cause for me.
Yeah.
But they didn't know. They didn't know any better. And after a while, like the little things started becoming big things, and I started forgetting more and more important things, like shit, was I supposed to go to work today? Like kind of shit like that. And it was getting to the point where like the people around me were noticing that something was up, but they couldn't quite put their finger on it. They thought it was drinking, but it wasn't. I mean, like I said, it was that wasn't that definitely played it. It wasn't helping, but that wasn't the thing. But it got so bad that I got to a point, kind of like this person exactly said. It's just like they came to the realization that they just have to do something about it. And that's where I was. I was at the point where like I was actually living with someone, and he was my best friend at the time. Still very good friends. Again, I don't like the word best friend. It's stupid, but he's up there.
Yeah.
And basically what happened is he and his girlfriend were going to move into her house. So her house was being remodeled, and she and her son were staying with us. And and as soon as it was done being remodeled, they were all going to move back into her house. And we lived in a house that I couldn't afford by myself, and I didn't want to get new roommates. I didn't even really want to live in this place. And so like, I knew that I would be moving out and moving in by myself. And I also knew that at the state that I was in, if I didn't tell anybody and I didn't take care of this, that was it for me. Like this last move, being by myself, like in the winter, in the state that I was in, like I wouldn't have lived through the year. I knew it. I knew it. And I wouldn't have killed myself, but I would have either drank myself to death or just gotten sick and not gotten better.
Right.
Like I would have fully given up.
Yeah.
Like, cause it was just getting too hard.
Yeah.
And it was at that moment where it was like, shit, or get off the pot, do it. And I was fucking terrified. I was fucking terrified, but I didn't have a wife and kids, and like, I know a lot of people. Yeah.
Yeah. And I would say this person's right. Like have that conversation. I would just say mentally prepare yourself first of all, be prepared for them to make it about them and how this affects them, and not realize how much you're going through. And that's fine, but it's like, I feel like at a point you have to realize that your partner's going through, like, your partner coming out is not about you. And then second, like, just be prepared. Like, I was not prepared for the worst. Like, my ex told me that I lied to them my entire life. Like, I mean,
I felt like that.
I mean, but that's a little different than being like, I killed someone when I was 15 and never told you.
Right.
It's like, this is something
it's a
lot to come to grips with, so just be prepared for that, but have those conversations, and, be open to it, but also, be aware of their feelings, but also be aware that you can't shut yourself down and live your life with someone else just to make someone else happy. And then if things work out, that'll be great. That does happen. If things, if they're accepting but can't be married to you, know that you're lucky that you have a situation where you can work moving forward and make sure your kids get what you want. And if it does go bad, I mean, that's out of your control. You're not looking for it to go bad, but you can't control what they do. That's what I would say. But also find a support group right now. Find a support group right now that's
probably going to have
that's
the best advice I've ever heard.
All those kinds of people in it. People who are still married, people who got divorced, and it was like bad. So, have that support. And then even if your ex, even if your wife doesn't respond the way you are, that was even if you don't get the response you want, you still have a support system in place that you're not out there by yourself. I was thinking only about my situation.
No,
God,
I know you were, but like, fuck. I mean, I hate to say it, but like, that's likely the case. Like, but you know, maybe not. You know, maybe not. I don't know. Everyone's situation is different, and like, I don't know you, and I don't know, or this person. I don't know this person. I don't know their wife. Like, maybe their wife is super fucking awesome, like, and loves them through and through. But like, the reality of it is the vast majority of people that are married in a heterosexual relationship generally tend to be heterosexual. Like, and if you're not and they don't know it, that's generally problematic for them. The chances that both of you were in the closet is not high.
So there's the thing. There's that 1% chance that you'll tell them and they'll say, "Oh my God, I'm a trans man. I've been trying to figure out how to tell you that." So, like,
there is
that possibility
chance.
is on the table. I'm not saying that's gonna happen.
I wouldn't, as your financial advisor, I wouldn't recommend you putting all your portfolio into that investment. But there is the chance that that's the case.
It's possible.
Even poor people can be president, Lilith. Anyone can be the president of the United States.
Anyone can be president, but trans people aren't real. Okay.
Oh my God. I mean, I hate to do this. I hate to say this because like it's just the harsh reality of this is like that. Like it's coming out is the hardest thing. There's nothing harder. It's the single hardest thing to do. And telling the people that are closest to you is the hardest because no matter how much you love them and they love you, and no matter how good your relationship is, you cannot be sure. You do not know how they're going to react. And like they can be the most open-minded person. They can be the best. They can love you with their whole heart. And you just don't know how they're going to react. And you know that. And like it's what makes you afraid. But the reality is that 100% of people that come out of as trans lose friends and family. Everyone loses someone, and you are going to lose someone. Now, whether that's your wife or your kids, hopefully not. Hopefully it's some people that you thought were your friends that aren't really your friends. It'll probably be some of your extended family.
You know, I was trying to end on a good note by bringing up the possibility that it might work out, and then you just immediately like dragged it further.
I don't want to sugarcoat this. This is real talk. Like,
know that. Here, I'm gonna try to end on a positive again. And
do they?
Don't rain on my. I think people realize they're gonna lose friends, but I would say this. You know, and if you're not in a position or you don't feel comfortable, you don't feel it would safe to come out, obviously you should wait until it's right for you. But the more people who come out, the more people who are brave enough to live their life out, the easier it's going to be for people further down the line to also make those decisions. And so, you know, part of the reasons I'm visible, I don't hide the fact that I'm trans, is because I want anyone who's trans, who was where I was, to be able to see that it's okay to be yourself. And so, you know, remember that as well. Like, you're going to come out and you might not know. One of your children might be trans, or even if your children's just, you know, even if they're not trans, but they're you know, somewhere on the LGBTQ you know, spectrum identification, that they're going to see that
part of the alphabet mafia.
Okay, but they'll know that they'll have that support as well, because that, I mean, what we're talking about, like, I felt the same way as a kid. I didn't even know any gay people. My parents were in the church. Like, that was my life. So know that as well, that your journey is going to help someone else and inspire someone else as well. And
that is true, but you got to do it. And you got to get there, and that's the hard. And I know you're trying to be positive, Lilith, and that's good.
If you say so.
I am. I'm gonna shit on this because like I can't, like, it's it's hard, and
Yeah.
it's because I don't want you to expect bad things to happen, because you don't know. You just don't know. But that's the thing, is you just don't know. And statistically, by the numbers, bad things are more likely to happen. Like it, and I hate to say that because it's just fucking true. Like, we lose people, we do, and a lot of times it's your whole family. So hopefully not. Like, likely your kids are going to be fine. Like, your kids might be weird about it at first, maybe, if they even are at all. But depending on how old the kids are, they'll probably be, oh, sure, okay, cool. Like, most kids these days just don't give a shit. They're cool as shit. But like, the younger people are, the more acceptance they have towards them. The more they're like, is like, but like, depending on how old you are, and like, and here's the thing about that, is it also depends on also the relationship that this person already has with their wife. Because like, if her wife is like already shitty about it, like if they're, because they're obviously still in the closet, just on the verge of coming out, and like, a lot of people that are in the closet are like homophobic and transphobic, like on the outside. And like, if that's the kind of relationship that they've got, like, then chances are that's not going to end pretty. But if they're an open-minded, like down person, like if if she's bisexual to start with, like, it's like, you ain't got no fucking problems. It's gonna be, but you might even still, like, but I mean, that's the thing, is like, you just don't know.
Here's the thing. Is I'm going to say this, and please do not add an addendum that makes it sound bad. No matter what you lose, no matter what family members or friends, it is much worse to not come out and to just live in that personal misery and not be yourself. And being yourself is always going to be a better choice for you, and it's going to make you feel better. And
absolutely, 100%.
there we go. All right. Oh,
no,
God.
I'll like, you can't not come out. You already, your eggs already cracked. You're coming out. Yeah, you're doing it. Out. It's the chips are gonna fall where they may. But Lilith is 100% correct.
And I would say, 100%. I would say that, our co-host Ted Cruz would 100% agree with that.
Oh, Ted Cruz is all big.
Always about that. He's always about being authentic, being 100%.
Well, Ted Cruz stayed with his husband when he came out as a trans man. Like, Ted Cruz has been through the long haul. Like, he's super into it.
What do you got for me, baby?
I have a trans friend. Advice.
Okay.
Advice is in parentheses. I have a trans friend who has fairly recently come out, a few months, and we are supposed to hang out. I know I can just do what we normally do and watch anime, etc., but I thought maybe she would appreciate doing stereotypically girly things like clothing or makeup, shopping at the mall with friends, since she didn't really get to before coming out. I wanted to suggest this, but I was worried she would think I'm seeing her as a trans person instead of my friend, so I was hoping I could get the input of some other people who understand her feelings a little bit better.
It's just the friendship should stay the same, and if they bring up wanting to do something different, you should be open to that. But like I said, my friends from college, we still go to college basketball games together and barbecue, and I don't think they'd want to go shopping.
Well, I'm just saying, I think this is the most wholesome thing I have ever heard.
This is true.
This is the most, like, this person asking this advice is like the golden child. This is so great. The epitome of what you want.
Yeah.
Person asking, question asker, advice seeker, you are doing everything right. You could not possibly be doing. The fact that you care this much, you're using her correct pronouns out of the gates. You're like, hey, you want to go do makeup? Yes, offer those things to her. Absolutely. Because she'll be so happy. She really will. She does want to do her makeup. She does want to do makeup, and she does want to do that stuff because she just came out and she's terrified and she doesn't know about that stuff and she needs your help. I'm going to assume that this person asking is female, because I get that.
I guess that's the thing too, is like, if if you're also a female, then yes, I think because when I came out, I had a female friend who went with me to get makeup and like patiently went through all the different things and tested them on my skin and helped me get the stuff that's right. So if you can do that, that's great. If you're a guy, though, like I said, my friends and I still do the same things. Like, unless they say they're interested in change, they don't want to watch anime, then that's perfectly fine. And I would say, let them make the choice. Now, like I said, if you're also like into makeup and clothing and want to do it, and I would say offer that. But I would say just being there as their friend, and I don't think you can go wrong either way. Like changing, like just the fact that you're there and like you're not, because that's all they want, is they just want to continue their life and in the way they want. Yeah.
She just wants to be, I mean, that's I'm so touched.
That is great.
By this. I saw this one, and it's just like, that last one was such a doozy. And it's like, the thing is like a lot of the questions out there are legitimate fucking scary questions, and they're not easy answers because like it is scary.
Yeah.
And like just as transgender people, we just have so many different obstacles and roadblocks than cis people have. Like it's just like there's so many. So to get something like this, when like the advice seeking is like, how do I be the best friend I can possibly be and help to ease her transition and make her feel comfortable?
Yeah,
you're it. You're doing it. You're doing it. And question asker, here's my advice to you: is you just you trust your instincts because they are 100% spot on.
Yeah.
Like you get it, you understand it, you have nailed it. Like you have done. Seeing that has done such a service for me. Like and it's one of the reasons I brought it to the table. I just wanted the world to know that like there are people out there like this that do you actually give a shit. Like you care.
No, Michelle, if you're watching, I love you and thank you so much. Michelle is my friend. And actually, about a year later, Michelle moved into the house that she was looking for a place. So we said, well, we got an extra room, move in. And then I would, every time I was putting on makeup, I would like go down the hall and knock on her door and be like, could you look at this? And she's like, it looks fine.
Yeah.
And I
did it by myself.
Oh.
I learned from watching YouTube videos.
I can't watch YouTube.
What do you mean you can't? What do you do? You're not allowed?
No, it's too much for me.
Does your boyfriend put the parental blocks?
Yeah, he blocks it. Every time I try to watch something, like it's just not like the way my brain works. It's just like I'm watching a thing and I gotta stop it every 10 seconds because I forgot what they said.
You've never seen a YouTube video. Is that what you're telling me? Right?
I can't use YouTube to like, oh, do you need to fix something? Here, watch this YouTube video because I'm always like falling behind and like losing.
Oh my God, you poor thing!
I did this makeup without putting on YouTube.
Well, I'm not. Your makeup looks beautiful. I'm not saying that, but like the fact that you can't use YouTube as a resource to like learn things. It's the best learning tool that's ever existed.
If I'm looking up how to do something, it's just like, just give me the instructions and I can read.
You need an instruction manual written in 6-point font with like translated from Chinese. That's the way you learn.
I got to have all the languages on it. If I want to jump to the German,
that diagrams with A, B, C and lines.
Yeah, that's
a written word. I say it's never been an improvement.
Honestly, if we're going back to Socrates, the written word was the downfall of intelligence. So there we go.
That's true.
Yeah, we stopped using our memories. We stopped. Yeah.
They also kick in the fuck out of Athens. Fed him hemlock. He's such a pain in the ass.
Maybe that's why I identify with him.
I mean, we could go back to Socrates. We could go back farther. What was the cavemen's stance on on clearing a drain? How did the cavemen clean a drain? We're gonna deal with a clogged drain. We're going to look at all the cave paintings.
Yeah, they were like, it was like how to cave paint, and they're just like, oh, just give me the paint and let me slap paint on the wall. It's like I don't need to watch some video about cave painting.
Grog show you how to change brake pad.
I had roommates who bought a radiator and then found how to fix their radiator on YouTube and did it
Yes.
themselves. And I was like, I would
Yes.
literally go insane doing that because people's brains work differently. Let's just
Well, I
admit
know
that that's the thing.
this is the first I've heard of this. I've known you for a while and I didn't. This is a new thing. I hadn't heard that. Like,
Yeah.
Lilith, the magical life coach, Lilith, like, can't watch a YouTube video. That's I mean, I'm not shaming you. Like, that's fine. I'm still kind of processing. So it's like, it's kind of it's fascinating.
Now I do watch YouTube, but it's mostly like, oh, let's do a character breakdown of this person from The Wire. There's two things online that I can't stand. One is when I'm looking to fix something and everything's like a video. And then like, cause the other thing is you watch the video and it takes like 10 seconds to do the thing, but they have to make it a 10-minute video to monetize it. So they like drag it out. So that's one thing. Two is when I want to make something and I'm like, oh, how do I make this kind of bread? And then you get to the website, and first is like this story about the first time.
Oh, the story of like how
the first time I had a slice of white bread, and it was just like, and they wanted a website where you would just get the recipes. And these people, these people said,
I don't understand the stories.
They said people come to our website for the stories, and I'm like, never in my life have I searched how to make French onion soup. To hear your story,
hear the story of why you like French onion soup. Yeah.
Oh.
And no one does. I mean, I had this idea. I never got around to it. And I'm probably just giving away like valuable IP. TM. But like, just recipes.com, like naked recipes. All it is the recipe. That's it. There's no fucking description. There's a picture of what it looks like, and there's the recipe, and that's all. There's no fucking story about how your uncle like used to sell shoes and then switched to selling shower curtain rings, and then met a man in Montreal, and like and like had Burger King for the first time. That's why like you that's where you're, and then something about some fucking lasagna that's bullshit and made with uses Cheese Whiz and Velveeta and like just like Velveeta and butter and like and spam and like just the worst things like Hormel ham and like it just like I don't know what it is about like the Great Lakes Midwest area where people think that prepackaged foods that are intended to be meals are ingredients. Like it's like a box of macaroni and cheese. A box of Kraft macaroni and cheese is not an ingredient to put in your other dish. That's something else. Like, I mean, I do get like, using like cream of mushroom soup as a thing. Like that's a thing. Tomato soup, maybe. But like, it's like, like a box, rice-a-roni is not like a base ingredient for an Italian dish. Like it's just not. It's like this is how you make a Mama Leone sauce, like Sicilian spaghetti. You take a package of of chicken flavored rice-a-roni and like
it's quick and easy Midwest risotto. What are you talking about?
Mix it with a can of ragu. You throw it in the microwave for 30 seconds. Like that's the worst. Bad recipes. Oh, there's so many. You have to be careful. Like it's funny. It's like, because I look for recipes all the time on the internet, don't we all? And like I've got a pretty good nose for it, but like I always get suckered in. You get, because like, you know what I lament, what I wish, and maybe it's the failure of me to search or click correctly.
Yeah.
But I wish there were, like, when I search for recipes online, 90 to 98% of the recipes I find are from middle-aged white women. And I almost never want those recipes.
Right.
I
Yeah,
want
no, I
recipes
totally get
from
that.
an Italian woman, or like,
Yeah.
or like I want recipes from like a lady from Mexico who has to have it translated. Like it's like I went like that's why like I like Seong Longas so much. Is like she's
Yeah.
a Korean lady that has a YouTube channel. I won't work for you,
It
but
won't.
like it won't work for you. But she's got a great YouTube channel, and like and she has the best. She cooks all sorts of Asian food, and like it's so good, and she's
It's like
hilarious and adorable.
it's like
There.
during the pandemic when all those white women were posting how they discovered this flatbread, and it was like you're cooking naan. Like
Yeah.
you didn't discover naan. Like I made this amazing flatbread. And it's just like, yeah, naan. It's at every Indian restaurant you go to.
Yeah.
It's delicious. You didn't invent anything or discover anything. So
It's like that
crazy.
episode of The Simpsons where like Marge goes into the Applebee's and like they've got like the street signs on the wall. He's like, now I've seen everything.
No, I've seen everything.
Oh shit.
Oh man, you know who's gonna be upset that they missed this? Ted
Marge
Cruz.
Sims.
Ted Cruz.
Ted Cruz.
He's
Oh,
such a
Ted.
Simpson
Oh,
Ted.
he's good. He's you know he's got to do work. He's always so like lament. He's always such like he's just so like he has to do it. You know, it's like
Yeah.
he's just the thing you can say about Ted Cruz is he always musters up the courage to take a bribe. He doesn't like it.
Yeah,
He doesn't like. He's like, it's like, oh, it's just part of the job. I just got to go get these bribes from these oil companies and these, you know, and bigots. And it's just like, I gotta take that. I gotta take that gun lobby money. I gotta take
Gotcha.
that. You know, I gotta take the Nazi money. That's my
But
bread and butter. And it's like
he knows that's the only
he
way to
doesn't
help
want.
the children.
All he wants
he
to
needs
do
to help the children, and that money helps him do that.
exactly and help America. All he wants to do is let freedom ring. But because of the system, Ted Cruz has to take bribes from oil companies and gun lobbyists and transphobic people and homophobic people and hateful people.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want to because he's not any of those things.
No.
Ted Cruz is a saint. He's a saint.
Man, you know what? Next week when he's here, we should tell him that to us.
That's my Saints Row character, Ted Cruz.
Saints Row. I say we tell him that next week. You know, we're always like, you know, we're always giving him shit because he's not here. But next time he's here, we should be like, hey, you know, thank you for the sacrifices you make to let freedom ring. And I think that's beautiful.
Yeah.
This is a really good episode. This is a really good
I think
one.
so.
Yeah.
I think we're done here.
All right. Well, I've been
right,
Lilith, and I'm going to continue to be Lilith. So
Yeah. I'm Amanda Bonanza, and I will be Amanda Bonanza for as long as I feel.
goodbye, y'all. Peace.
I may change it. Take that, world. And you will respect it. Should I snap? like a cool person from 1996.
Yeah. That's exactly when I was my coolest. Actually, my coolest is now. I'm my coolest right now.
You know what I listened to yesterday?
What?
Without any irony?
What?
The Macarena. It's really fucking good.
You know what I've been listening to lately without any irony? Living La Vida Loca.
It's so good.
It's so good.
It's such a good song.
So
it's
good.
so good. All right, everyone. This has been Girl Dick with Ted Cruz. We're sorry Ted Cruz couldn't be here. He's taking bribes, but he'll be here next week for sure. So we'll check in with old Teddy, old righteous Ted next week. See what his take is on transgender issues. Yeah. All right, Lilith.
All right. Thanks for joining us.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.